Hey, welcome. In this video, I am going to be sharing how much money I have made on YouTube to date. Going to be honest, I do feel kind of awkward making this video out there for the internet. That being said, I do feel that it's an important topic and I've found I've got value from videos like this, and I hope that you feel the same. So that is why I'm making it for the second time. Having made one a few years ago when I first got monetized. To give context, I have just reached 1.3 million views, which feels absolutely insane. And I have been making YouTube videos since December of 2020. Like I did last time, I thought it would be fun to drop in and ask you a question to answer now as you're watching, if you don't mind. I have made 376 videos over the past 4 years and 9 months. And in that time, I've got 1.3 million views. How much do you think I have made in the, shall we say, 5 years? Just write down your numbers in the comments. I'll be curious to see what the estimates are. And then, of course, I will share the totals just in case you haven't seen videos like this before. In order to get monetized, you first have to reach a threshold, which is 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours within a year. Once you've done that, you can apply to the YouTube partner program, which then means that your videos moving forward can then be monetized. And the way that your channel or your videos are monetized after that point is essentially that you get paid for every 1,000 views. So you don't get paid depending on subscribers. It's not like the more subscribers, the more money. It is dependent on how many views your videos get. Now, whether you get more views if you have a bigger channel, fair, probably. But do you get paid loads of money if you have loads of subscribers and not that many views? No. The other key thing that's important to know is, although you get paid for every 1,000 views that your videos get, the amount that you get paid for those 1,000 views varies drastically depending on a whole bunch of factors, like what genre is your video. So are you making tech and finance and real estate videos that are likely to make more money, or are you making art videos, wellness videos, and other kind of videos that perhaps will make less money? It also depends on where your audience are watching from. It depends on the time of year. It just depends on a whole bunch of factors you have no control over. But essentially, advertisers pay YouTube a certain amount. For example, for me, a lot of the time advertisers will pay £10 for 1,000 views, and then YouTube pays a part of that onto me. For me, when I look at my numbers, the amount that I get paid for 1,000 views varies between £3 and £5 depending on the video. So for the sake of ease, we'll say it's roughly £4 across my channel for every 1,000 views. And then there are other ways to get monetized, some being memberships, but I don't have a YouTube membership. I have a separate membership for artists. And there's also gifts, like things like super chats, super stickers, just receiving support directly from viewers. That is also in addition to the ad revenue. Now, as I said, because it varies so drastically depending on the kind of videos that you're making, it doesn't really make sense for me as an art channel to compare how much I'm making to someone who may have a finance channel, for example, because it's going to be really different. To give a bit of background to my channel so that you can marry it with the information I'm going to give about the numbers, I am a mixed media artist based in the UK as well as a doctor. I started my YouTube channel in December of 2020. And with everything that was going on at that time, I turned to art, but then turned to YouTube because I wanted a community. I was living alone and, pretty much just work and home, work and home, work and home. And I wanted to share the passion and the joy and the peace that art was giving me with a wider community. And so I started a YouTube channel, and on here, I share my artwork, which consists of lots of different media, which basically means lots of different paints, watercolor, gouache, acrylic, capturing things like landscapes, florals, things that are completely abstract. And my videos aim to basically share that and stick to that first message of sharing the joy of creating, the joy of exploring your supplies, of using your supplies, of painting at home, but also painting while traveling. And all of that has basically been the crux of my channel. And so for the past 4.5 years, that's basically what I've been doing, creating videos that help you on your own art journey, whether you're doing it at home or whether you want information on how to do it while you travel or everything in between. So let's go back to the first year. As I said, I started in December of 2020, but I think that for the sake of completeness, it makes sense to kind of think of the first year as 13 months, and we'll just call it 2021. During that time, which is the first 13 months, I created 47 videos. I was kind of aiming for once a week, but obviously working full-time as a doctor as well. And I gained 714 subscribers, which meant that I technically could not be monetized in that time, and thus I made £0 for that entire year. But like I said, I gained 714 subscribers and basically started finding the community that I was looking for. In terms of the most popular videos during that time, in that year, my top 5 videos were, first of all, a video that was an art haul where I bought lots of different art supplies from a store that I saw in person, and I was just so excited. Like I said, I was still quite early on in my art journey, and so there was a lot of exploring and discovering different supplies. So the first 2 videos that were the most popular were actually both art haul videos, buying different supplies, better supplies, actually investing in my art and sharing that, and down the line sharing some mistakes that I made. But first of all, 4,000 views for the first art haul video, 2,500 views for the second art haul video. Then my next video, my next most popular video, was basically about the Kuretake Japanese paints, reviewing them and deciphering whether they are worth the cost, and that had 2,400 views. I then did another art haul, this time from Amazon, kind of looking for less expensive art supplies and putting them together, and again still discovering my art style, and that had 1,900 views. And then my 5th most popular video from that year was my studio tour, basically sharing my setup at that time, and that had 1,000 views. But like I said, I basically made 47 videos. Those were the top 5, and I made £0. Then in 2022, we go into our second full year. Now, in this year, I gained 4,100 subscribers. I was officially monetized, and I had 230,000 views, and I made, I'm gonna have to look down for this to try and figure this out, read my writing. During that time in 2022, which it seems insane, but it's the truth, I made 104 videos, of which 62 videos were like edited videos. 22 were live streams and 20 were shorts. In that year, I made £752. I made 104 videos, which seems insane. I have to check again. Hold on. Okay, double checked again. That is in fact correct. I made 104 videos. And in terms of the breakdown, from the 62 long form videos that I made £697. The live streams, I made 22 live streams, and that made £55. And the shorts, I made 20 shorts and I made 15p. Sorry, I made 15p. Of the £752, the total amount, £39 was actually gifts from viewers through super chats and stickers and tips, and the 713 were from ads. My top 5 videos from 2022, bearing in mind I made 104 videos, which seems insane. The first one was Choosing Keeping, a beautiful art store that I visited to cheer myself up actually that day and I ended up recording it. It was just such a beautiful store, and that got 18,000 views. Then the next video was how to travel with your art supplies. Essentially, I was going to go on a solo trip to Venice, and I wanted to take my art supplies with me, but I was very apprehensive because I didn't want my supplies to get taken. I didn't want them to get damaged. I was just very nervous around what are the rules with being able to carry art supplies and fly with them. What paints can I take? What paints can't I take? What can and can't I do? And I spent hours looking up all this information, and then I was like, well, it took me hours to piece it all together. I might as well make a video now that I know it all. And it's a very impromptu video. But yeah, I put it all together so that you wouldn't have to spend hours looking for that information yourself, and that got 12,000 views, and both of those are still one of my top performing views. And then I did another art haul in third place, and that got 8.5 thousand views. Then I did a video talking about how to pick travel art supplies, because I have a wide range of them and I feel like they all have very strong pros and cons depending on what you like to travel with, and so I highlighted them so that you wouldn't have to buy all of them to figure that out, and that got 6.9 thousand views. And then the last one was the best palette, which is basically highlighting my Stay Wet palette that I absolutely loved. I still love it, and that got 6.6 thousand views. And that is a wrap up of 2022. I like it, it's so insane, so many videos. Then we come to 2023. In this year, I had 308,000 views, which is 70,000 views more than the year prior. I had 41.6 thousand watch hours. I gained 4.7 thousand subscribers. And I made £1,284 that year. And that consisted of 46 shorts, which made me £3.23. I then made 27 live streams, through which I made £273, and 40 edited videos, which made £1,008. So of the £1,284 that I made that year, £50 were gifts from, like, gifts, tips, super stickers from 13 people. The rest of it, the 1,238, were from ads. And the top videos from 2023 were again how to travel with art supplies, the video that I mentioned where I just put the hours worth of work, put it together so that you could travel with your paints. That got 12,000 views. Then how to pick a travel palette, again, got 10.6 thousand views. I made a really fun video highlighting novel art supplies that could be given to artists as gifts. So yes, there are the standard things that we all need, like, you know, paper, brushes, paints, but there's also like really fun, interesting knickknacks. And so yeah, it was really lovely to put that together, and that got 10.6 thousand views. Then another video, that the next video, which was the fourth one, was a Roman Schmall top 30 colors video, and that was again really fun to put together. It was almost like a community project, because I basically asked my community, I asked everyone what their favorite colors were from the brand Roman Schmall, and with that information I also put together my favorite colors, and we made a top 30s list based on that, so that if you are looking at Roman Schmall and you don't know what colors to get, you can at least see the most popular, the ones that we would recommend to a friend. And that video, like I said, was fun to make, and that was the fourth one, and it got 9.8 thousand views. The fifth one was a video that was basically highlighting all my Winsor & Newton gouache, and that got 8.6 thousand views. And that was a really fun one to put together as well, because like I went on a really random tangent, which I thought would be really helpful for people, and it ended up being really helpful. So I was quite glad, where I essentially did swatch out my colors, but also kind of highlighted how I found the gaps within my palettes, what extra colors did I need to buy, and where I basically compared colors based on not only cost but whether they would fade or not, and that gave me a good insight into whether colors were worth spending extra money on, or whether I should just buy a cheap alternative that would give me really great results. So that was the fifth video, and to recap, I made £1,284, and that was from 113 videos that year. And it's so funny because I remember at the time I was like, oh, in 2022, I was like, okay, next year I'm going to do less. And in fact, I did more in 2023. So yeah, 117 videos and £1,284 in revenue that year. And then we come to 2024. So in 2024, I had 430,000 views, which is about 120,000 more views than the year prior. I had 50.9 thousand watch hours, which is a lot. I gained 5.9 thousand subscribers, and in that time I did slow down a little bit in terms of how many videos I made. Finally, thankfully, I made 77 videos in 2024. Of those, 21 were shorts, and I made £9 from 21 shorts. I made 19 live streams, and that made £214. And then I also made 37 edited videos that generated £1,412. And so the total for that year was £1,635, of which £24 were gifted by 10 people. I should also say that YouTube takes a third of all super chats, super stickers, memberships as well, and that's why a lot of artists will have memberships outside of YouTube. So now, in terms of top videos for 2024, because the thing that's quite interesting is that there's a lot more views, even though I made less videos. But I think also there's the benefit of compound, right? The videos that I made years before are still getting views as time goes on, even if it's not as many views as when they first came out. And that is one of the things that I love about YouTube. It's not like other platforms where once you make the video, after a while it just disappears into the ether and you don't see it again. They stay there and they sometimes come up, and if someone's searching or looking for something and YouTube thinks that actually they're looking for your video, then they will see your video, whether it is 1 day old or 1 year old or 10 years old, and that is really wonderful. So they do keep generating income with time, even if it's not as much. So the top 5 videos for 2024, I made a full video highlighting the top 10 based on views, but in terms of income, the first one was a video talking about brands destroying art YouTube. It was a difficult video to record, uncomfortable, but I basically wanted to highlight some of the experience that I'd been having with different brands for the past few years, essentially so that others wouldn't be treated the same and so that people could make informed decisions when they were buying from these companies. And yeah, that was my top performing video, which it feels bittersweet because I feel like it's not a happy video, and I like making happy videos, and I was quite upset when I made it. But that being said, I stand by the message, and I know that it was really valuable for people, and ultimately that's what counts rather than my discomfort. And then the second video was again another video that was tricky for me to make, but I do feel that it was valuable, and I enjoy watching videos like it as well. And it was basically me highlighting my regrets and mistakes over different art supplies that I bought, so that again you could know the pros and cons and make an informed decision, so that if you like the kind of things that I like, you can avoid those supplies, and if you hate the things that I like, those supplies are great for you. So the brands destroying YouTube got 15.9 thousand views. The mistakes video got 13.8 thousand views. The next video was me sharing my studio tour. I am a doctor, and as a result I do move every year or every other year, and so there've been quite a few different studio tours because I move a lot. And that video got 10.9 thousand views. If you have an art YouTube channel, or you're thinking of starting one and you'd like us to work together so that you can put your best foot forward, avoid the mistakes that I made, and just really accelerate your growth and your experience on YouTube, then be sure to check out my description for more information on how we can work together. But with no further ado, let us continue, because honestly things have just been getting better and better and better through the years. My favorite art supplies of 2024, and I love favorite videos because I feel like they provide so much value. I love the excitement of art hauls. I love making art hauls and watching art hauls, but there is just something about seeing supplies that are so well used that I just absolutely adore. And so the same goes for creating them and getting out all my favorite supplies and being able to share them and talk about them in depth and give insights of pros, cons, favorite things, art that I've created with it. It was a joy to make, a beast, but a joy. And that got 10,000 views. And then the fifth video was another one of my favorites, and that was the granulating recipes video, and that made 9.8 thousand. That got 9.8 thousand views. And essentially there's a lot of paints that are granulating, which basically means that when you swatch them out, they have a texture and will have sometimes just one color, and it just has a lovely texture that kind of separates, and sometimes it will have multiple colors that makes it seem even more special. And there are a few colors that are made that are pre-mixed, and as a result they can cost quite a lot of money. And in that video, which is still to date one of the most popular videos, I basically highlight how with the watercolors that you already have, you can make a lot of these colors, if not even better colors, highlighting my little formula for doing it. And basically, I don't think there's anything wrong with buying the colors that are pre-mixed so that they are these mixtures of colors as soon as you start painting with them. I have plenty of them. I get that they're beautiful. However, we can make a lot of them and it would save you so much money, and you may end up preferring the colors that you mix. And so it's one of the most popular videos, and it got so much amazing heartwarming feedback. So yeah, I'm really glad that I made it. It took a lot of work, but it paid off. And now we come to 2025. So it is currently August, but still I thought, you know, might as well tell you how things are going so far. Got 311,000 views, which is not bad for August. I've gained 3.9 thousand subscribers, and I have made 4 shorts, which have made £2.50. I've made 7 live streams, which have made £110, and I have made 26 videos, which have made £1,260. And so the total for the year thus far is £1,373. My top 5 videos for 2025 thus far are, first, the art supplies that I bought from Italy. And I basically went on a wonderful trip to Bologna, a watercolor festival. It was just so wonderful, so amazing, and I made so many videos as part of my trip. One was highlighting the art supplies that I bought while there, and that's the first video that I've talked about that got 12,000 views. The next one is highlighting the festival itself, and that got 11.8 thousand views, so it's the second most popular video this year. The third video is actually a really interesting one. It is what I use and why, highlighting my Daniel Smith watercolors. The reason that I say this video is really interesting is because when I recorded it with the intent of sharing it with my art members. And so I was very relaxed. I felt more free, more myself, more long-winded. I didn't record it with the intent to share it on YouTube. And it's a video that I kept as a draft for the longest time, waiting for the appropriate time to share it with my members, but I've done similar videos. And then I randomly thought, you know what, I'm going to share it on YouTube for now and see how it does. And it has ended up being one of the most popular videos, which, again, everything that I thought I should do with YouTube, I wasn't thinking about when making those videos, because that's not the vibe, that's not the way that I approach the videos that I create for my members, and it did really well. So yeah, that's if you watch it back, you'll notice some subtle differences in how not only I was talking about the supplies, but how I ended the video, how I started the video, just the whole pace of it. It was because it was all geared towards my art membership. And if you like videos like that and you want more videos like it, then you should consider joining, and I'll leave it linked in the description. Then the fourth video is Neocolor 2s, just highlighting the new limited edition Neocolor 2s that came out, and that got 8.9 thousand views. And in 5th place, we have granulating recipes. Again, like I highlighted, it is one that remains one of the most popular, and I'm just so glad that people got so much value from it, because I think a lot of people just didn't know what they could make with what they already have, and that to me is the kind of videos that I love creating, videos that have an impact and make a difference. And then and that has got 8.3 thousand views this year. And then I wanted to add like a bonus one, which is the 6th place, which is me swatching out my current most used Daniel Smith watercolors, and that's got 6.8 thousand views, and that's in 6th place. And the reason that I mention it is because I only made it a few weeks ago, and it's already it's already on 6th place. So I suspect that it will be a video that will continue to do really well, and again, the feedback from it has been really excellent. And so in terms of lifetime, like the videos that have made the most income through the lifespan of my YouTube channel thus far, in 1st place we still have how to travel with art supplies, which is so funny because it's a video that's very low tech, but I really created it with a heart to help people so that they wouldn't waste as much time as I did. when I was looking for all that information. And so although it was really low tech, I really did believe that it could provide value, and I didn't wait for it to be perfect. I just did it as and when I could, and it has been very well received, and to date it is one of my highest paying videos. The next video is actually shoes and keeping, and it's funny because I wasn't really intending to make that video that day. I happened to go to Choose and Keeping because I was having a bad day trying to figure out where I was going to live next, and I was near Covent Garden, and so I thought, you know what, I might as well go in, and I instantly felt calmer. I thought it was beautiful. It was so lovely, and I just really took my time to record, to look around. I was doing a no buy, so I was actively trying not to buy any art supplies and to just like admire them, and it kind of felt like the perfect store to do that because the whole motto is that you choose what you're going to get and you keep it, and so they really promote intentional shopping, and that is what I was really trying to get back to the root of. The next one is the novel art supplies, gifts that you can give to artists, and like I said, it was a video that I really enjoyed putting together because it got me to think about all the different fun supplies that I have that others may also enjoy, and I thought about helping people who don't know what to get artists. Keeping in theme, my fourth most popular video is my favorite art supplies of 2024, and like I said, I love putting together videos like that and most used videos because I just feel like they're the most useful. As much as I love art hauls, there's just something so nice about knowing tried, true and used supplies and seeing the beautiful artwork that people have created, and so I really enjoyed putting this together for you. This is an interesting one because the fifth one isn't one that we've actually discussed thus far, and it is actually the Roman Schmall Essentials palette video. And in this video, I highlight the new palette that I absolutely love the colors of, and it's one that I made in around November 2024. And yeah, although it hasn't featured in the list before, it is my fifth highest earning video thus far. So I guess in terms of putting it all together, I've basically been making videos for almost 5 years. In that time, I have gained 19.2 thousand subscribers. Thank you so much. I have got 1.3 million views. I have made 376 videos. 92 of them were shorts and have made £14 in 4.5 years. I can't even say that with a straight face. 75,000 live streams. What? I have made 75 live streams, which have made £658, and I have made 209 edited videos, and that has made £4,382. And then of course on top of that, there's also the £128 that people have very kindly gifted or tipped or super chatted and super stickered on my videos throughout the years. And so in total, for 376 videos, I have made £5,054. I make roughly £4 for every 1,000 views. So that is how much I have made from YouTube ads and the gifts, and that is £5,054 for 376 videos over the past 5 years. I don't know how that compares to what you expected or what you thought, but I hope that this has been enlightening. I sometimes gather from the comments that I get that people think I'm making a lot more than I am making on YouTube, and lots and lots and lots of money on YouTube, and I wish that were the case, and I hope that this was a helpful insight into how much an art channel can make on YouTube. I sometimes get a range of comments, and sometimes I get the impression that people think that YouTube is my full-time job. Quite often I'll get questions as to whether I am, am I still a doctor, and that I'm making a lot of money on it, whereas actually that is not the case, and I do have a job. I am a doctor, and that is what is sustaining me financially and also sustaining this YouTube channel, as well as my art membership, which has allowed me to continue making free YouTube videos even when it wasn't generating much income. And that's the other thing. I think it's important to know that this is the revenue, so it's the amount that has come in, but it is not the profit. It's not like I've taken all of this money home, unfortunately. It doesn't include any of the expenses or investments that I have made into this channel. And so I think that brings us to another point, which is, how do artists then make a living? Can you make a living from YouTube as an artist, and I think it is possible. I personally haven't done it as of yet, but I do believe it is possible. I just don't know or don't believe that it should be the ad revenues alone, because one, they fluctuate a wild amount. You don't really have control over the CPM or the RPM or even the views. You can only create how many videos you make and what videos you make, but you can't control how much you're going to get paid from the ads. And so I think that it is possible to make an income. It just has to be with other things. So for me, for example, one of the ways that I've been able to continue making free YouTube videos has been through my art membership. Through it, I have offered Zoom sessions, extra resources. I've been able to really nurture an art community and have a bit more of an impact in the art lives of my members, like I wanted and like I kind of feel is not fully possible to do on YouTube. And through the income that my membership has generated, I have been able to continue to support YouTube and continue to create free resources. But I've also been able to stay inspired and have a community and give back and answer specific questions. And I'm not the only artist that's done so. There are plenty of artists that have really wonderful memberships, and I think it's a really great way to not only support the artist and their craft, but to also nurture and invest in your own art journey. And then of course there are other things like selling original artwork, selling prints. But even if it's not through monetary value, doing things like watching videos makes a huge difference. As you now know, people get paid based on the views, not based on the subscribers. Still, I think it's worth subscribing, because quite often that's how you then get notified that someone has made a video. And then if you watch the video, YouTube will know that actually these kind of people enjoy these videos, and thus we should pass it on to an even bigger audience so that they can enjoy the video too. Things like commenting, liking, sharing videos that you feel are valuable to other people who may enjoy it so that they can watch it too. All these things make a really big difference to the artist that you're watching, but not only in terms of finances, although that does make a big difference, especially in the day and age that we live in and the cost of living, but also in keeping artists and people encouraged. A lot of work goes into making YouTube videos. For me, any video can take me around 20 hours to make. It depends. Some a lot more, some a bit less. And so the reason that I'm able to keep doing it is because of the community aspect, and that comes through being able to talk to you and know you and feel like I'm making a difference. So yeah, don't underestimate the power that you have as a viewer and as a supporter. And like I said, it really does make a very, very big difference. And if you are still watching, then you are most definitely a real MVP. And thank you for not letting me just talk to myself. Let me know that you are still watching by telling me your favorite kind of video to watch. Obviously, through these top 5, you've seen the ones that have got either the most views or made the most money. I'm just curious to know if they align with the kind of videos that you enjoy watching as well. And definitely consider joining my membership, as it's likely that if you're still watching, we would probably get along. When it comes to my top 5 highest earning, best performing YouTube videos, my favorite one is this one. Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye and God bless. And if you're wondering if it's a new day, it is. I've been doing this all night. See you later. Bye.